Alrighty guys, so in this video I'm going to talk to you about writing equations with parallel and perpendicular slopes. So what are we doing? Given a linear equation and a certain point, you can create another equation that passes through this point and is either parallel or perpendicular to the given line. So thinking back to everything we've learned, you want to think about, well, if I have that parallel or perpendicular slope and a point, what am I going to use to be able to get there? Well, to be able to get there, we're going to use that point slope formula. Okay, so keeping in mind of the following, parallel lines have what kind of slope? Equal slope, or the same slope. And perpendicular lines have, and this is where we talked about friendly terminology, flipped or switched. But again, the academic vocabulary that we use, we say have negative or opposite. I should have said opposite. So let me go ahead and put that in there, negative or opposite, because if I am negative, then I'll be positive. Reciprocals. Okay, so again, that's what we said was flipped and switched. And I apologize for the angle of the video. It's just the way my iPad could sit. Okay, so write the equation of the line that passes through the point -2, 7 and is parallel to the line y equals -4x plus 1. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is look at my slope. So my slope is -4, and I want to determine, well, what slope would be parallel to that? Well, as we said up top, parallel lines have the same slope. Okay, so if I have my slope already and I have a point, I'm going to go use my point slope formula. And let me adjust my iPad real quick. Okay, so my point slope formula, y minus y1 is equal to mx minus x1. Okay, so I can go ahead and plug in and I will get y minus, and there's my y value, so y minus 7 is equal to, okay, equal to, I have a slope of -4x plus 2. And again, remember guys, I'm writing plus 2 because in the formula it says minus. So if I say minus a negative, then it'll turn into plus. Okay, so just as we said, and anytime we're solving an equations, we're going to distribute first. So I will get y minus 7 is equal to -4x, and negative times a positive will give me a -8. Okay, so now to get it into slope-intercept form, I'm going to add the 7, 0, pair that out, add 7, okay, and I will get y is equal to -4x, -8 plus 7 will get me to a -1. So here's my equation, okay? So if I were to go to a graph and I had this point plotted, I could follow my pattern slope of down 4/1, down 4/1, and this would be the equation of the graph that I create, okay? So that's a parallel example. Let me show you a perpendicular example. Okay, so same thing. We know to look at our slope. So my slope here is 2, which anytime I have a slope of 2, that means it is a slope of 2/1. So if I were to make it perpendicular, flip and switch, I am going to get a slope of a -1/2. Okay, so using that point that I have, I want a graph that's going to cross through that point and have this slope. I'm going to use my point slope formula. So y minus 3 is equal to a -1/2 x minus 4. Okay, and both of those point values, x and y, were positive, so I'm just going to be minusing that positive value. There's no minus and negative here. Okay, so let's distribute. Y minus 3 is equal to 1/2x, -1/2x, and negative times a negative will give me a +2. So I will add 3 to remove the that value on this side of my equation to get it in a y equals mx plus b format, and I will end up with the equation y equals negative 1 over 2x, 2 plus 3 plus 5. Okay, so here I have a line that is perpendicular slope, and now you know that it passes through that point, okay, using that point slope formula. So you're going to practice some of this today, comparing those parallel and perpendicular slopes and being able to write the equation given another equation and a point value, okay? So keep that in mind, point slope formula and our flipped and switch when we're looking at perpendicular slopes.